Is it a good idea to shoot black and white and colour images on the same shoot? I don't think it is. Okay, so what I'm trying to get at here is not to be controversial and tell you you can't shoot black and white and colour at the same time. It's more that I personally find that trying to shoot these two different styles, they cause a conflict in my view, my vision if you like, when I go out shooting, and I've got a short video coming up which will demonstrate this. Now, in previous trips when I've gone out and I've shot with both colour and black and white film, I typically find I don't get very good results with either of them. I'm usually looking at images thinking I'll shoot that in black and white and colour and I'll decide later which one's the best, and that typically doesn't work because what you're doing is you're covering all the bases, and covering all the bases typically means you end up in a middle ground, and that's not where you want to be. You want to be at one end or the other. You need to know exactly what it is you're trying to shoot and set out to shoot that. Now, from a film photographer's perspective, when you choose your film, you are locking in certain characteristics. If you choose like HP5 Plus, you're going to get grain. If you choose like Ektar, you're going to get saturation. Now, you could argue that you could just shoot a colour film like Portra 400 and convert that to black and white later. So you just shoot with one film and just make an image in colour or black and white when you're finished. But I don't like that. I personally like to decide at the start of the shoot what look I like and stick with that, which is why I very rarely, and I don't think I've done it for many years now, convert colour images to black and white with film. Now with digital, you're at liberty obviously to shoot it in colour and convert it later. But again, I think it'd be benefit if you set out with one in mind, set the back of the LCD to colour or black and white and stuck with that. Now I found this on a recent trip to Scotland that I was able to shoot with colour digital when it suited, which is typically the morning early light and the late evening light for sunset. But during the day when it was quite dull, I stuck with black and white film and I didn't mix the two together. I didn't mix the two mediums, and I had a very successful trip because of it. Anyway, rather than bang on about my personal views, have a quick look at this video which I'll narrate. It explains how I did a recent trip and where it went all wrong. Okay, so we met up in the Lake District for this particular trip. Very beautiful area near Yew Tarn. And we were going to take a walk up Home Fell, beautiful views. It was drizzling a little bit, but I was very hopeful because we had interesting skies, nothing worse than boring blue skies, as I've said on many occasions. A little bit of a hike to get the views, but again, sort of very optimistic despite the rain, starting to spit with rain. And I had with me two cameras, two Nikon FEs, an FE and FE2 actually. And I had one loaded with Fuji Acros or Acros, and the other loaded with Kodak Ektar. And right from the start, I was already thinking I'm going to shoot both at the same time. So I'm going to take an Acros image and I'm going to shoot one with the colour film alongside it and choose the best later, which is totally against what I would normally do. Now, the light was mixed at first, shall we say, and I took this one in black and white, which to be honest it's just neither here nor there. Look, there's no mid-range contrast in there. It's just not suitable. I mean, it's an autumn day, for goodness sake. What was I thinking? So anyway, unfortunately the light dipped away and I had to stand around for quite some time until I got some sunlight coming through. It was really a case of sitting out, and again I was like switching between the colour camera, the black and white camera. Will it work with this? Will it work with that? I was changing my position. But eventually, I am pleased to say the light did clear. Well, I say the light did clear, it came through. And I managed to get this one with Ektar. Now this is what I was after, this is what I wanted to shoot. This is colour, it's got drama, the sky's good, it's got the best of both worlds for me. That's exactly what I came for. But I did want to get a black and white one, and the light had ducked away. So I ended up standing around for absolutely ages, waiting for the light to come back, just to get the same shot in black and white. And as you can see from the video footage, it's not really a black and white image at this stage. I mean, it will work, if you want to play about with the sliders and yank up the clarity and mid-range contrast, but look at that. It's just bland compared to the colour shot. It just hasn't got any impact. But I did persist. I went walking around all over the place actually. I mean, it was one of those days when you do about 10 miles getting nowhere and shooting in colour and black and white. Now this is particularly my favourite shot from the day. Whacked a longer lens on, short zoom lens, which I love using, a little Chiron 70 to 150. Perfect for the shot I was going for, and perfect in colour. As you can see from the footage, it's got that lovely pastel shades, it's lovely and soft and subtle, and it makes a beautiful colour image. Absolutely beautiful image. I've got this printed as well, which is absolutely stunning. Despite it only being 35mm film, it's got that sort of watercolour, that natural look. But yeah, being the idiot I am, I also shot it in black and white. Now look at that. Look at that muddled mess. Now yes, you could process it more, you could do things with it, you could yank up the clarity. What's the point though? You know, you're really trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, and that's not going to work. So anyway, it started to rain again, little plastic bag on the camera. Again, more mediocre shots, because what I was doing was I was again thinking, will this work in colour? Will this work in black and white? Rather than saying to myself, well, put one of the cameras away and work exclusively with the other one. And the one I should have worked with, I mean, just look at the colours of the day, is with Ektar. I should have been shooting Ektar all day. I mean, this is a perfect example. I mean, this is a colour shot. There's no way this is going to work in black and white. It's going to be muddy. Those greens and browns will merge together. Yeah, weather. This is the great British weather we're famous for. So you have to stand around a lot with plastic bags on your cameras, and you get very, very wet. But at least the camera doesn't. I mean, yeah, film cameras, not known for being waterproof. But yeah, put a plastic bag on them, and they suddenly become waterproof. But I did brave it in the end. I did manage to get a shot. I think I used the 28mm lens here. And I do like it. I like the colours. Again, it's sort of like, it's the soft colours. They're not very dramatic. I think I actually desaturated this one and took the colour out of it. Hunted around again. The thing is, I should have worked that shot a bit more. Rather than rushing around trying to look for something graphic in black and white, which is what I was doing. I was looking for more sort of stark trees, the silver birch, which wouldn't work. And, you know, it's just poor. It's just poor. I mean, here's another one. And good grief, you know, I've got a print of this actually I made, God knows why. Anyway, yeah, moving on. The skies got better and better as the light improved. This one would have been very good in black and white if I'd worked it, but I've switched over to colour and started shooting it in that, which didn't work as well for that particular one. So again, didn't bother getting my compositions right for the particular medium. I was too busy flipping cameras, flipping lenses around. I'd maybe been better off just with a couple of lenses as well. But as the light improved right at the end of the day, I am glad to say I did manage to get one last one in colour, and it sort of was the culmination of the day now, and I am pleased with this one because it does represent for me the sort of mood of the day, that soft colour, that autumnal colour with rain showers, you know, skeeting through. So yeah, it was a good trip, but what was I like? Okay, so that wasn't brilliant. It was a great day out, by the way, but I was disappointed in myself that I took two different cameras and two different films. Had I just taken Ektar and probably fewer lenses, took about 4 lenses with me, I think it would have been a better shoot. In fact, I know it would have been a better shoot. And this is what comes of muddled thinking, of not being clear. And now when I set out up the mountain, I should have had a clear goal. I should have decided right at the start, I mean, look at the colours, put the other camera away, leave it in the car, just decide to plod up that hill with one camera and maybe a couple of lenses. Now, this is where the selection of colour or black and white is important, because if the shot relies on colour for its impact, as it does with autumnal days and ferns and forests, then shoot colour. If colour though is becoming a distraction, if colour is something which is distracting you from the main thrust of the image, like some mountain shots or dramatic skies or seascapes, then use black and white. You know, the colour could confuse the viewer as to what you're trying to say. You need to be clear what message you're trying to convey to the viewer, whether it be on a video or in a print. And on this case, it should have been a colour image. It's autumn. I've got another video coming up soon in autumn. Just shot Ektar on the day. Learned my lesson, thankfully. Anyway, so another thing which frustrates me sometimes is when people say, the light's awful today, so I'll probably convert it to black and white, which is typically, you know, what you do with digital cameras. It's not working, so you're just going to go to plan B, make it black and white, and it won't be a good black and white. I can almost guarantee it, because you're not thinking in black and white. If you say the weather is overcast and dull, or it's gritty and grainy today, I'm going to shoot in black and white, that's different, because then you are thinking black and white. You're thinking from the outset, set your LCD to black and white to mono, and work in that all day, and your eye will become better. You'll become more attuned to what is out there in the scene. It's much better obviously if you're shooting film, because you lock that in And that's why I typically go out with film on horrible days and shoot black and white, HP5 plus, Delta 3200, things like that. Oh, and I did, yeah, I made a print. I mean, you know, I was just like a glutton for punishment. I made a print of one of the images I shot in the darkroom. And, you know, even with a bit of darkroom magic and wizardry, it's mediocre. It's just not very good. So I won't be doing that again. Yeah, tell me off if I do. Next time, clear thinking. Go out with one camera, one lens, or a selection of lenses and one film. Fair enough if I want to switch during the day. If it's going to be a sunrise shoot, I probably will shoot something like, you know, a colour film. But I'll probably separate it out to 2 different videos because I don't like the way they sit together. So yes, thank you for putting up with my little sermon about mixing black and white and colour. And yeah, perhaps it's something you might want to think about. It's something I'm certainly going to be more conscious about. I don't do it very often. I failed, and I could have done a lot better with fantastic conditions. So yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.